Hello guys and welcome back. So let's talk about another really cool thing we can do with Arnold. So let's do that on the shelf. Okay. So go to the shelf material. Now one thing I do feel like I kind of wanted to do better is I want to have the edge, almost like some edge scratching happening here. Okay. But I can do that in Substance Spinner, and I did that. It's just not that visible here. Again, that's just gonna be a hassle you have to deal with. The color, the roughness, everything can be not as you want them to be after you bring them to Arnold. So I'm gonna try to do it here. Okay. Let me go find the, where is the color thing? Base color is connected to, okay, that's the base color. All right, cool. So I'm gonna go create a node called Curvature, AI Curvature. Okay, and then I'm gonna connect that to the color just to be able to visualize what I have. Okay, and then I can go ahead and show the isolated. You can see the curvature we're seeing. Okay, so this is basically calculating curvature in real time. Okay, and then we can change, of course, how big the curvature is and make the curvature bigger. All right, so of course this is too generic. I kind of wanted to break it up a little bit more. So I'm gonna say, let me blend it with a noise, right? So I'm gonna go look for another file. Okay, and this file will then be loading the same grunge map. I've been using the same grunge map all the time. So let me do another blend. Okay, so that should be a multiplication this time again. So AI multiply should be enough. Okay, minimize, drag it over here and drag that over here and take a look. Oh, it's not doing anything because again it's using, oh, actually it's using color this time. Not sure why then. Let me go disable that and do that again. I'm grabbing the multiplication. Okay, that's the curvature, that's not viewable, and that's nothing. Oh, maybe this one is not. Oh, that's because we're not connecting this guy. So it doesn't really allow you to see the stuff if you don't really connect it. So the minimouse drag it over to the color. Okay. Now let me grab the AI multiply. You can see now it got bricked up more by the grunge map. Okay. Now I can grab the grunge map. I can maybe tweak some of the things here. Maybe I can repeat it more. Maybe I can give it more like gain. Actually, that's dark. Okay, to make it darker or brighter or offset. So I can also see, okay, I want to make it, yeah, I want to repeat it a little bit more. So I'm gonna go for 3x3. Okay, so that's breaking up more. Let me actually grab that and lock it. Okay. All right. And then maybe I can remap it by using a remap HSV. Basically the same as histogram scan, more or less. I'm gonna connect that to the input too now. And then here what I can do is I can go ahead and do the contrast. So I can maybe cut out more, okay, to have lesser. All right, cool. Now let me disable the isolation. Okay, the color is weird because we're using black and white as the color. So that's not exactly what I want. I want to actually have those scratched area or the edge area to have like maybe a brighter color. Okay, so this should serve as a mask to blend two colors. Okay, so in Maya, the blend node is going to be blend colors. Okay, and then that guy goes to the blender. We use alt color R to go to the blender value. Okay, and then we can blend two values, color 1 and color 2. So color 1 should be the original color here. So I'm going to grab that and minimize drag it over to color 1. Okay, and color 2 will be, let me make it dark for now. And let's connect the blend colors now to the final color input. Okay, you can see now the background is actually flipped. So I'm going to change the input. So here, I'm gonna minimal drag the color 2 to the input. Actually, the remap to color 2. Okay, then color 1, I'm gonna break it. Okay, then you can already see, let me hold down shift and drag over here, so that the renderer will focus on it. You can see the red colors on the edge. That's from the curvature map. Okay, and then I can say, okay, I want it to be stronger, so I'm gonna change that to like something more like white and bright. Okay, maybe I want the curvature to be more visible, so I'm gonna say, how about make it bigger? I'm gonna change the radius so that it's bigger, so we can see a little bit more. All right, let's see. So curvature looks like this now. Okay, and then we have the final multiplication, which looks like this. Okay, so our final blend color, okay, is using that as alpha. Let me make sure that we're using that. We're using Alt R. That should be it. Okay, cool. So now I can go ahead and change it. For example, maybe I can want it to be red to just test it. You can see it's very different. All right, cool. So that way we can define the variation we want to have on the shelf ourselves right here inside of the Arnold renderer. Holding down shift and double click to disable the ranged rendering. Okay. All right. Cool. So I think that's all the cool techniques we can apply to, instead of Maya's like Arnold and Maya node-based rendering or material development. But there could be more, and sometimes I come up with new ideas and come up with different nodes. Like in Maya, you have a lot of utility nodes also. Like one of the things that we were using a lot in the earlier stage when we don't have this really good material is this sample info node. Sample info node gives you a lot of information. It's like facing ratio. Basically, it's gonna tell you how direct the surface is to your camera or to you, to the eye. So that's gonna help you to make the things that are fading away or rotating away to be a little bit different. Okay, we can probably try that on the floor. Let me show you how that looks like. So back here to the floor material, maybe I want the floor, the far side of the floor, okay, to reflect a little bit more. Okay, to do that, I'm gonna use this sample info node. Okay, and what I can do is I can let me just connect that to the color again so that we can visualize it. So facing ratio to the base color. Base color is grayed out because it's 3 channels. I can occupy all 3 channels. Okay. Go to the render and update the full scene. Oh, and I need to disable that input. Okay. They can see slightly like it's a little darker on the far side. Right. So we can try to do like a little HSV or remap HSV, right? Connect that to the color. So yeah, we have to again use the facing ratio to go to 1 to 3 of the colors. Okay, and that, let me delete that input now, and I can connect the remap to the color here. Okay, same thing we're getting. Now we can make the darker area a little bit darker and bright area a little bit brighter. Okay, you can see what it gives us, right? It's based on the direction of the face compared to the direction of the camera. Now, because the things are far away, it's tilted a little bit differently, right? So that's why it's a little bit darker. Okay, So that information can be really useful. So I want to say, okay, I want those areas to be a bit more shiny. Now I can do that because I have this information. So I can then minimal drag this guy over, or I can even just use it in the color part. I can do it like another AI multiply. Okay, I can connect that to input 1 and the remap to input 2, and then the result goes to the color. Okay, now you can see it's gonna be really dark on the far side. Okay, right, that helps to guide the eye a little bit more. Okay, and maybe it's too dark, so I'm gonna change the remap to let it not do that much, or I can create another remap. HSV one more time, so that way I can shift it over here to make it a little bit brighter. Okay, so now I have the power of making it darker on the back side, and it doesn't really it's not fixed over here, so when you rotate your camera angle, you can see it's still gonna be the far side will be darker, right? Which is really cool. Rotate back to here. Okay, because it's based on the camera angle and the angle of the surfaces. And also we can use that to make things more shinier, right? So that means this value here can be used to whatever that is connected to the specular roughness. Okay, so this one. So what I can do is again another multiply, so AI multiply. And this guy goes on top, and this guy goes to the bottom. Okay, and then I'm gonna use the alt color R to control the specular roughness. Now suddenly you can see the front remains the same, more or less, but the back becomes a bit more shinier, which is also kind of something we can do to make it look a little bit more interesting, right? You can compare this with the beginning of the image. You can feel like this one just have that much more life compared to the beginning, and all those variations are all done inside of the graph. Okay, so you can tweak them here, and you don't have to go back and forth and tweak materials in Substance. And sometimes I think it's just impossible to achieve this kind of like result with only Substance textures. You need to blend them in flexible ways to get it to work the way you want them to be. All right, cool. I think this should conclude some really cool techniques I wanted to talk about to use, overland renders like Arnold. Similar technique can be almost all done in V-Ray because those renders are actually really, really similar. All right, cool. Thanks for watching. See you next time.